8:33. So let's go on and see if I am on. Okay. Looks like everything is working. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, I can see everybody. Good evening, everyone, and happy St. Patrick's Day. We have a little bit of time left. What a day. What a day. And thinking about St. Patrick just empowers, uh, anyone that spends a little bit of time reading his words, reading his prayer, absolutely is empowered by it, is strengthened by it, spiritually, physically. And so it was just a great day. I just love all the saints. And this one is a little special since we lived in Ireland for so long, way over a decade. And right behind our property, I mean, it was in walking distance, was St. Mel's, the old ruins of St. Mel's, right underneath that hill, that mountain, Arda Mountain, famous for its past Druid stories. And, so to think about St. Patrick, to walk that area. St. Mel, if you don't know, Mel Gibson is named after St. Mel, the nephew of St. Patrick, that the diocese there, the Arda diocese, just a lot of history, and it was such a pleasure, and so it was. We were so fortunate to have that amazing experience there, to understand that Patrick wasn't Irish. He was really Welsh, uh, from the Picts. And when the Irish would take slaves, um, they captured him when I believe he was 16 years old when they captured Patrick, and he was a slave for a little over 6 years before he escaped and went back home, and then became a bishop in the church, and heard the cries of the Irish, and he went back over there, um, and stood against the false narratives. And if you read his stories, it's just amazing. It just applies so much to what we're going through with trying to find out what happened to our son. We know really what happened, but trying to get accountability for our son, and it's all it seems to be kind of getting bigger and bigger, involving more and more people. But this is where it's taking us. And talking about Welsh, um, you know, uh, so you have this old historical 5th century amazing strong man that's not afraid of the Druid kings that try to control their people with false narratives and everything, and Patrick stood against them and made them look weak, and conquered Ireland for Christ. Uh, it's just an amazing story. And then you see some modern day stories. Right now, I'm paying attention to what's happening in England, because Kate Middleton, she's a princess of Wales, did not show up for St. Patrick's Day. Now, that might not mean anything for people in Texas or El Paso or here in the United States, here in South Carolina, or, wherever you're at. It might not mean a lot, or maybe it does mean a lot. But she hasn't been seen. She's missing. She's missing. She hasn't missing from her people. She's been missing since December. And there's some really wild stories. Intelligence is saying, look, we need to pay attention to this because even today, there has been some leaks going out to the media saying that there's going to be some big announcement from the royal family there in England. And why is this important to Richard's case? Well, because Richard was whistleblowing. He was whistleblowing on uh, criminal activities that included um, the child sex trafficking, that included the weapons, arms trafficking, that included um, the the drugs, the narcotics trafficking, that included those in the reason why it's such a big deal is because he went to complain to the people, and the people that he complained to were involved in the criminal actions, and connected to a criminal network there, which includes the cartel, which includes many there at the border, and that activity goes around the world. Okay, 85,000 unaccounted for children in less than 2 years missing, and it's not a. I mean, they covered it a little bit, but really, it's it's not covered like it should be. 85,000 missing children from Fort Bliss under the care of our military, and those kinds of security breaches where 85,000 missing children in less than 2 years, 2021, 2022, can just go missing. Um, and they're under the watch of our military, of our generals, of our admirals, um, of our CYS, all of the money that we spend on security, and they just go missing. And where is DES Thomas Kane's answers for all of that? And then, of course, if that is going to happen, then what is to stop weapons being smuggled out of there and being used for, uh, mass shootings like the August 3rd, 2019 mass shooting? And that's not insane to ask. If if the security is so weak, if the security is so bad that a 14-year-old girl, which is proven, of one of the security guards, is being pimped out living in the barracks on Fort Bliss to the soldiers for weeks, and nothing was done about that. If CID is going to give unauthorized access to their files, and that video goes missing and video is tampered with, um, you know, that is all, uh, there's just indication after indication. Look, it was proven that there was a military weapon just left laying in the intersection of Fort Bliss. Okay, just a weapon just laying right there in the middle of the street. Um, so, it is not hard to question all the other things that could happen. If you have COVID and you're making your soldiers live in living hell with all the masking and all the mandates, yet you are bringing in girls to party, something is strange, right? Something is, you know, and the DES Thomas Kane giving the girls the passes to come in to party. that's schizophrenia, right? That's schizophrenia, or it's just an indication that there's a lot of fraud, waste, and abuse, and everything that's going on there on Fort Bliss. And then we have Iskander Day, right? Iskander Day, where the Russian Iskander missile blows to smithereen two of our Patriot. Uh, what do you call those? I don't want to. My husband said, don't call them batteries. Um, these missile. Oh, he told me what to call them. Anyway, but the point is that Iskander blew up. Patriots didn't have a chance. So what is that telling us? It's telling us that our leadership in the military is just up to no good. They are not doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're letting our military installations um, have are unsecured, are unsafe, and that they are not using all of the monies that we provided for them to give us the best security, the best weapons, that we are being blown to smithereens by an Iskander Day, right? By a missile from a Russian drone. And it doesn't matter if it's in Ukraine, where it's at. It's still, our technology is becoming archaic. And this is telling of the failed leadership that we have. And why does that matter in Richard's case? Well, because he was patriot. He was patriot, and he was just saying it was so bad. It was so bad. And if they are smuggling weapons, if they are smuggling equipment, and equipment's not getting repaired properly, if things are not getting updated, if they're not focusing on our defense, and they are focusing on nonsense or crime like child sex trafficking and these sex cults, and um, the drugs, because our soldiers and the drug issue is just out of sight right now. And of course, with the suicide rate, and of course all the smuggling, all the trafficking that's going on. And it's like, okay, well, our military is not doing what they're supposed to be doing, so maybe we need our money back. Maybe they need maybe we need to think about how we're doing things, because it seems like a lot of too much fraud, waste, and abuse, too much, over the top. So yeah, it just shows you that there's breaches, and that we are not being unreasonable to say that Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room, and tortured and assaulted and murdered and dismembered, and um, you know um, buried in multiple places. And then the people involved, Tavita Nusa, the CID agent, right? The CID agent, Leilani Hart, Richard's platoon leader's mother, Dallas Hart, key suspect, or prime suspect in this case, the platoon leader. And that is not unreasonable, because of all the other evidence that shows that things are a mess. Things are a mess. Things are very criminal. And there's no accountability. There's no oversight. The standard operating procedures are not being followed. And that is very, very clear. And that the generals are participating, or participating, conducting abuse of power. And you saw that with absolutely the continuous severe retaliation that Richard received. For what? For what? They said it was for a DWI, on the 25th of January, 2020. And, then by God's grace, we get the video of that very night, and we have shared some of the pictures with that. It's still being analyzed. And what does it show? It shows Richard totally, y'all, totally with it, totally beautiful, totally respectful, standing at attention, totally, totally uh, in control, and with integrity, beautiful. He was just beautiful. And, so that was a false arrest. That was a false stop. That was a false arrest. Um, and, we are absolutely pursuing what we can do with that, because, of course, it's not as simple as just saying, hey, look at this. Major General Eisenhower, look at this. Look how beautiful your soldier is. And are you going to have their six? Because they don't have their six anymore. These are failed leaders. These are abuse of power leaders. These are leaders that have sold their soul. These are leaders that have contracts and, um, that are serving foreign and domestic enemies. Because what happened with Bob Moore is, indicative that Major General Eisenhower, that Sean Bernabe, that Donna Martin, that these generals are not working in the best interest of our service members, that they have some other loyalty. They're not working in the best interest of the defense of the Constitution and their duties, that they need to be arrested, that they need to be stripped because they are serving foreign and domestic enemies, that they are traitors, they have betrayed us, that they are treasonous. It's just that clear. It is not difficult or me being unreasonable to say it. There is evidence upon evidence upon evidence that anyone can look at to see that this is happening. Because, where is the PAO? Where is Major General Eisenhower being outraged about what happened to Richard? Because for him being so beautiful and having so much integrity, being treated with this badly, his rights being violated by this false stop and the false arrest, and being exonerated on July 9th, 2020, with the whole thing. Um, where is the outrage from a commanding general to protect his service member? And so every service member should really be writing him, filling his inbox with outrage of his lack of support. Because if he is serving foreign and domestic enemies, he will do this to anybody. Okay, it's not just Richard. And so we're under very, very bad leadership right now. Matter of fact, the enemy is within, because with leaders like this, who needs enemies, right? These are the worst type of enemies, because they're wearing our uniforms, they're wearing our stars, and where's the oversight? Where is Congress having Richard's back? Because there is no doubt, and every one of them have watched or could watch this video, 2 hours worth of Richard being absolutely beautiful, with integrity, respectful, and having his rights abused, and being falsely arrested, and false accusations, and the SJA PP McGee using that to defend the major absolutely over the top, severe, continuous retaliation by Major General Clem Coward and Lieutenant Colonel Michael Roddick. They need to be stripped. They need to be put, to me, they need to be arrested for what they did to Richard, because, of course, their conflicts of interest are the real reason, um, and the whistleblowing that Richard was, the complaints that he was making on their conflicts of interest, that was the real reason why they had to retaliate severely and um, continuously against Richard. They were protecting their own interests, and that's very clear when you do a little bit of research. They were dirty. Both of them were dirty, amongst many others. So, and if they're going to do it to Richard, they already did it to Asia Graham. They did it to Austin Hawke. They did it to so many others. This failed leadership. So, Lavina Johnson, and there's just so many. Elder Fernandez, um, Glendon Oakley Jr., and these, I always thought, okay, it was for the money. It must be for the money, or for power. But after really reading through St. Patrick's words today, I'm thinking this is a spiritual, I would say, a demonic religious cult that is causing this. And and I hope that goes out, because I'm going to absolutely stick by my words. There is no other way to say this. There is a religious tone to this that is demonic, very satanic, demonic tone here. 85,000 missing children, and this loyalty to foreign and domestic enemies that is just, it has to be religious, right? It has to be, and I don't even want to call it religious. The loyalty is to evil, and there's no other way to explain it. And so, cultish, it must be to a cult, and it has a lot of symbolism in it. And that will come out as we explain everything with Richard. But this body cam footage is huge for our case. It's kind of like when we found out who Nadal Baim was, truly. And I think it will explain everything as we go along, if you realize that a lot of time, well, the motivation right now with leadership is not always money. They have a lot of money. It's not about money. It's not about, it is about power. They need the power to continue to practice their cult, right? Their cult. And but it definitely explains why they have this sexual cult fetish, sexual cult extremism, sexual extremism, period, that is unhealthy and unbeautiful and just criminal, absolutely criminal, and with no loyalty to anything, just so unloving. So it is, it would explain the deaths. It would explain the cover-ups. It really is something that explains why are the British people talking the way they are about Kate Middleton's disappearance. something is going on, that they would suspect that she was dead, that that there was a lot of nefarious activity going on in this case of the Princess of Wales disappearing. There's and what the world is a smaller place, so this is all connected, and it seems to be pretty pretty satanic. I can say that definitely. So and I never thought that I would ever say things like that, but the evidence is there. The evidence is there, and so some when you see grown men soldiers and um, females even too, but just shake. They're just shaking. They're scared. And it's not scared for their life, I don't think. I don't think it's scared for, they're scared because there's an evil spirit. And we also know, because of our own experience, what's going on in the military. There's an evil spirit that was growing even years ago. And that is why we tried to convince Richard not to join, because we saw that at the time there was this something not too good going on, and yeah, we didn't want him to get hurt, and and absolutely he got hurt. So for standing for truth, for standing for the children, for standing up against this organization, this criminal network that would put together a mass shooting in order to control the people. And yes, people died, right? People died. People got injured. Um, but it wasn't for a racist thing. No, I do not believe that one bit. I do not believe that Patrick Crucius was the lone shooter. No. I think there's murderers walking the street that were there that day. And if we don't face the evidence, and of course the prosecuting office does not want to bring that case forward, and of course the media is helping them to cover it up, but that case needs to come forward, because as it is exposed, you will see that there are so many that saw multiple shooters, and of course intelligence has told us that there's brown tip bullets involved, and now the intelligence is putting together the connections of the people with the organization. We're looking into El Paso Community Foundation. The El Paso Community Foundation is something's going on with that in this case, and if we solve the Walmart mass shooting case, and bring justice for these 23 that were killed, and I would say 24 because of Glendon Oakley Jr., and then the 22 that were injured, and then I would also add Richard Halliday to that too. So that's 25 that were killed. Yeah, we need to bring justice for these individuals, and it's kind of all coming together. The puzzle pieces are all fitting together, and now we need to find out, where do we go, since our law enforcement agencies were sabotaged. Where do we go to get the accountability? So we're going to be faithful moving forward, and like Patrick, here he is, a slave in Ireland. And, 6 years go by, which is really telling because, yeah, um, then he gets this message that, hey, a boat will be waiting for you. And he escapes and he goes and gets on this boat. Um, and he gets his freedom. He gets his freedom because he knows the dogs. He if you know Ireland, there were lots of sheep. It's land that is caters to sheep, caters to livestock, and that's what he was doing. You cannot leave sheep alone. Um, Sheep are very, very timid. If a dog chases them, they could die just by being chased, by being frightened, because they'll get a heart attack and they'll just die. Um, they need a shepherd. They need a shepherd. And so as a slave, that's what he was doing. And so he knew the language, he knew the dogs. That helped him escape. And then he came back and, he knew the language, he knew the people, he knew the land, and he changed Ireland forever. And that is, he didn't know that that was going to happen. That was all God's plan. That was all God's plan. So we're moving forward in faith too, that when the time is right, when God wants us to, he will show us the way for the accountability. And we've been working very, very hard on that, and we got some very positive feedback of investigations back on that. So we are definitely getting institutional support, and we're praying that because Biden is not really, everything is like pulling teeth with him. So we're praying for a change, and we're hoping that change is going to be President Trump again. And they're talking his people, his future administration, because it's looking very, very good, is talking about accountability. It is talking very positive methods and a way forward to report this criminal activity and support our troops. So we're very hopeful that with more and more evidence collected, organized, more and more criminal reports in there to let the law enforcement community know what's going on in Richard's case and get more and more open records to help the case. But with this video, it is so clear that there was abuse of power on so many fronts when it comes to what they did to Richard. It just proves it hands down. There's just no question about it. So we are very grateful. Thank you so much. And pray for Kate Middleton, because the rumors are that she is missing and she's murdered. Those are the rumors. Um, maybe she's missing, and maybe I don't know. I don't know. There's so many different rumors going on around her, and we cannot trust the narratives, right? We just can't trust the narratives. Hopefully, she's alive, fine, and will come out. She's just been recovering from her surgery or whatever. But pray for her. Pray for the truth to come out, because that is huge, huge power there. These are very, very wealthy families that have a lot of power in our day to day life. And you might not think so, but they do. They have huge power in our day to day life. And yeah, um, so I hope that the rumor mill of huge criminal activity is not true. is not true. So, because we have enough, because I'm going to tell you right now, the the criminal activity on Fort Bliss is real. It is absolutely real, and the satanic slant to it is real. Um, the satanic cause for it is real, and yeah, so let's pray that that's not the case for Cape Middleton. Um, Thank you, everyone, so much. And we will be back tomorrow. And I did talk about the audits yesterday, and um, we're getting some follow up with that, and also with the El Paso Community Foundation. If you know a lot about the El Paso Community Foundation, that is has some connections to all of this. They were distributing the money, all the monies, um, for the Walmart mass shooting. So they are big players in all of this. And so just pray for all of that and have um, a very happy the rest of St. Patrick's Day. And we will be back tomorrow, God willing. Thank you so